Well, this is a first. I'm by my computer. I've never made a video like this from this particular spot, but and I should be in bed because it's 3 o'clock. But I got Ghibli on my mind. I've heard from a few people today about exhibitions that are going on now, and of course, there are other Ghibli related things that exist in Japan. So I'll start off by sharing my experience with Ghibli. Now, when I first came to Japan, I think it was probably, I came to Japan in October, early October of 91. So it might have been in that kind of autumn season of 91, or it might have been in 92. I'm not sure. But basically, when I went home after work, because we finished work at 9 o'clock, so when I got home it was already after 10. But I caught the last half of this movie, this animated movie, and I was just mesmerized by it, and it just stuck in my head. So the next day at work, I asked my coworkers about it, and they told me what it was called, and part of it seemed familiar to me, but basically it was Kaze no Tani no Naushka, Naushka of the Valley of the Wind. And I remember asking about three things, because I heard three words very often, and I wanted to confirm what they meant. So one word they said a lot was hime. And I asked my coworkers, they said hime a lot, and they're talking to Naushka, they're talking to her. So is hime something like princess or queen? And they said, yeah, it means princess. So got that one. And they also said mushi. They said mushi a lot. And I said, does mushi mean like monster or insect or something? Because they were referring to these flying kind of dragonfly things and beetles and whatever. And my coworker said, yes, mushi means insect. And one more word they kept saying was ningen, but I couldn't really figure out what ningen meant. So I asked them, there's one other word I heard repeated a lot. What does it mean? And they said ningen means human. So that made sense to me. So that's kind of the natural way to learn vocabulary, by the way. You hear it a lot, and the sound sticks in your mind, and you don't know what it means, and it bounces around there until it gets married to the meaning. That's how people learn their first language. They just hear sounds, and slowly they start to experiment and repeat sounds, and then finally the sound acquires a meaning. So I learned those three words, hime, mushi, and ningen, from watching that last half of that movie. But I wanted to see the whole movie. I wanted to understand the whole movie. And then I remembered why it was familiar. In a science fiction magazine I'd read, probably in university, because the original movie came out in 1985. I graduated in 1986. So I remember reading in a science fiction magazine this film from the UK called The Riders of Wind Valley. And it had the same kind of picture of this girl on this flying thing being chased by kind of a flying centipede kind of creature. But it was only about 80 minutes long. And I've since learned that the movie got licensed by a distributor in the UK, and they cut out so much stuff and only left in the action scenes. And that's why Hayao Miyazaki was reluctant to let any of his movies be translated or distributed overseas. And John Lasseter from Pixar promised him no cuts and was able to get a deal to distribute Ghibli movies through Pixar Studios. And that's how those films made their way, finally, way after they should have, to a Western audience. But Naushka is always stuck in my head. That was Ghibli Studios' first movie, and for me, that's the best movie by Ghibli Studios. I've seen the movie probably 25 or 30 times. I bought the Japanese version on VHS, and it was in a kind of special double cassette box with some interviews I couldn't understand and lots of other behind the scenes things I couldn't understand. When it was available after coming out with Pixar, I bought it on DVD with an English dub, which was a very good dub. They had good actors, not Japanese voice actors, but a good dub. But of course, the subtitles, I'd rather watch it with the subtitles and hear the original voice actors. But the dub was really good. It had Mark Hamill and Patrick Stewart and other people who are pretty well known. And then finally, I bought it on Blu-ray. So of course, the Japanese original with English subtitles and the English dub. But I'm a subs over dubs kind of guy. And in order to get funding to produce this movie, Hayao Miyazaki started writing a comic book to show that this was based on source material, based on some original comic book. And that was able to gain the confidence of people who could fund this. And after the movie came out, he continued writing the comic book for another 10 years until he completed the whole story. The movie itself is about the first probably 15% of the total story. And the other 85%, unless you've read the comic book, you have no idea what takes place because it's never been made into an anime series or movie sequels to the original. And now with Netflix and all these other avenues available, I'd love to see a Nausicaa series made by Ghibli and do it right, go slowly. But, I read the entire comic book in English. I borrowed it from a friend, so I know the complete story. And I bought my own giant special box set, which includes a map of the world, and it's all hardcover, over 1,000 pages. And it is published correctly as a manga, which means you read it from right to left going down. So that means that this is the back of the book. This is the front of the book, and you open it up and you read it. And the versions I'd read before had all these warnings in it. It said, "Stop! This is a Japanese manga. You're reading it from the wrong side. Go back, flip it over and read it from the other side," because people weren't familiar. So one version I'd seen flipped the artwork so that you could read it Western style. And then they just put in the English translations of the Japanese. But a lot of the sound effects and things are part of the art. They're not in sound effects boxes or things like here. There are these sound effects written into the art, drawn into the art, and those weren't reversed. Those weren't, translated correctly. So it's better to have it the way it was originally made. And the back has a huge glossary explaining what all of those sound effects mean on every page. So I am a Nausicaa fanatic. I've seen almost all of the other Ghibli movies. Not everything, but anything that Hayao Miyazaki had a hand in. I've pretty much seen all of them at least once. Most of them more than 2 or 3 times. My second favorite is Sento Chihiro, or Spirited Away. And third, I suppose, would be Mononoke-hime. So his first one, and then 2 of his last ones. But they're all good in their own ways. Now, this is at the Yokosuka Museum of Art, and this is from March 20th until June 18th. So I've still got over a month and a half to see it. And this is an exhibit of Hayao Miyazaki artwork, and there are huge figurines and things. So some of my friends have talked about going here. Some of my friends have gone here. They put their pictures on Instagram. Looks really fun. It's not too far. I could probably go there, but you have to get your tickets online. Additionally, of course, there's the Ghibli Museum in Mitaka, but this is hard to get tickets to. Now, there are one of the features that this is a museum. It's not an amusement park. There are no roller coasters or anything. You go in there and you look at the craft of animation, and there are lots of things representing various Ghibli movies. And they also have, you're entitled to see a short film, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 short films. The current one is this one. No, the current one is this one. You probably can't see it, but it's called Mon Mon the Water Spider. And that's what's showing. That'll be showing until the end of April. And usually the movie will be shown for about a month. I've seen this one, Koro's Big Day Out, which is about a dog that kind of gets away from its home and has trouble getting back. But both times I went to the Ghibli Museum, they had the same movie. So I've only seen this one. And I went there when it was still fairly new. They only had maybe 1 or 2 movies on rotation. Now they've got a lot on rotation. And it says here, upcoming films. There are 2 more. May and the Baby Cat Bus. So that's from Tonari no Totoro, My Neighbor Totoro. So that looks adorable. And then this one, The Day I Bought a Star. I don't know what that's related to, but, they're all good stuff. But, unfortunately, the Ghibli Museum has some special things. They only sell a limited number of tickets per day. One ticket is for the morning half, another ticket is for the afternoon half, and you can go there and stay there during that time period. And because there's a limited number of tickets on sale each day, they're sold out very quickly. So I was looking ahead at the calendar. This is the Ghibli Museum calendar. And it says here, April, of course, sold out. All of May is already sold out. They sell tickets a couple of months in advance. And most of June is, basically, you got to buy your ticket really early, hope you can get a ticket, and then maybe take a day off work for the day you get a ticket. You might not get a ticket for the day that you want. But if you plan to come to Japan and just at the last minute think you'll just swing by the Ghibli Museum in Mitaka, you won't be able to, because the tickets were sold out weeks and weeks and weeks ago. But I'd like to go back to the Ghibli Museum again. I've gone there twice, and when you go there, you give them the kind of receipt for the ticket you got at Lawson's or some convenience store. They have these machines that sell tickets. You give them that receipt. They give you the actual ticket, which is this hard cardboard holder, which has a piece of the film they've cut and encased in this. And that's what you can keep forever. And you can hold it up to the light and see the frames of the film. And I was really lucky. The first time I went, I got Ashitaka from Mononoke-hime, Princess Mononoke, drawing back his arrow, ping, and firing it, those frames. And the second time I went, I got Mei on Totoro's chest while Totoro's sleeping, and Totoro is breathing in, and Mei's just looking at his face. I got 2 great ones. Some people just get the ending credits, or they get just a cloud in the sky repeated, and they don't get anything that really shows what film it comes from. But I got 2 great ones, and they're somewhere in my closet. I just took a peek in there. I don't want to look in there. I don't want to go in there. It's just not a good idea. So anyway, Ghibli Museum in Mitaka, that's in Tokyo. So Yokosuka Museum of Art, or Yokosuka Art Museum, has a Ghibli exhibition. The Ghibli Museum in Mitaka, of course. Now there's one more. The Ghibli Park in Aichi Prefecture, which is near Nagoya City. Now, I took a look at this as well. There are 2 types of tickets. One type is called the Ghibli Park Osampo Day Pass. And this goes on sale 2 months in advance. And this one, you can enter all 5 areas. And you can go to the cafes and restaurants, the shops. You can play on the equipment and the rides in all areas. But you cannot enter some buildings. The World Emporium, Satsuki and Mei's house, the Okino residence, Howl's Moving Castle, the House of Witches. It's not completely free to enter everything. But there's another pass, which is called the Ghibli Park Osampo Day Pass Premium, which gives you access to everything. But looking down here, basically for April, for May, and for June, the premium pass is already completely sold out. So if you wanted to actually experience the complete park, it's too late. Now, just like the Ghibli Museum, the Ghibli Park sells a limited number of tickets per day. They don't want it overcrowded. They don't want it to be stressful. They want it to be relaxing. And especially for young children, they want children to feel the freedom to just explore. It doesn't really have big attractions like roller coasters and things like that. It's more like you can visit the worlds from the Ghibli movies. And there are 5 areas. Now, the one area is called Ghibli's Grand Warehouse. I'm not going to move the camera too close to the screen. But this is just a very big area. I'm not sure what movies it represents. It seems to cover a lot. There's a cat bus room. There's a Minamimachi. There's an open warehouse. So this is kind of like your Main Street USA in Disneyland or something. There's a flying squadron that strikes me as being from Kurena Nobuta, the Crimson Pig, or probably from Naushka, which has a lot of flying machines. There's the Hill of Youth, and it says here the Hill of Youth. It has the World Emporium, which is from the movie The Whisper of Whisper of the Heart, and also the Cat Bureau from The Cat Returns. There's an elevator tower that gives you a nice view of this area. That's the second area. Another area is the Dondoko Forest, and this is basically Totoro. So you can go to Satsuki and Mei's house, and there is a giant, the giant tree and all of the Totoro things here. The fourth area is Mononoke Village. So Mononoke Village, it must be Mononoke-hime, Princess Mononoke, and it says right here. And they have a hands-on learning center. I'm not sure what that involves. There's a big slide. There's a demon spirit structure. So this recreates the feeling of the rustic villages and the forest area in Mononoke-hime. And the final area is called the Valley of Witches, and this is the Howl's Moving Castle area. But it also includes Kiki's Delivery Service and Earwig and the Witch, which is a more recent film I haven't seen. So Kiki's Delivery Service, so Majino Takubin, and Howl's Moving Castle and Earwig and the Witch are all represented here. There's a kind of a big lake or pond area. So I think it'd be fun to just wander around this area and wander around this park and just be in the imagination of Hayao Miyazaki and be in the various worlds that Ghibli has created. So I don't have any plans and I don't have any tickets. I'd have to wait months before I could use them if I got them now. So the museum in Mitaka is out of the question. The Ghibli Park in Aichi, that's a no-go. But the Yokosuka Art Museum is not that far, and it's going to be open until June 18th, so there is a probability that I'm going to go there. So I should be in bed. I'm not in bed. After this, I'll try to put this online. Then I'll go to bed. But my mind is on Ghibli. And that's not a bad place for my mind to be. Maybe I'll have some Ghibli dreams when I go to sleep tonight. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like Ghibli, let me know. If there's a Ghibli movie that you prefer, let me know. If you have any questions about these Ghibli things in Japan, let me know. But anyway, I'll go and dream about Ghibli. Thanks again.